At the end of your life, you can voluntarily stop eating and drinking. And yes, it's legal. What if I told you that in every one of the 50 states, you already have the legal right to say enough? If you have a chronic or life-limiting illness, not just terminal, yes, terminal falls into this category too, but if you have a chronic or life-limiting illness, you can legally invoke your right to voluntarily stop eating and drinking to end your life. This right is called VSED. VSED, voluntarily stopping eating and drinking. We often don't think about things like this, right? We don't even know that these things exist because we don't talk about end of life. As a hospice nurse, I think this is such an important part of our legal system, of our laws, for people to know that this is an option for them if something were to happen to them. I always talk about how on hospice, people with terminal illnesses will develop not wanting to eat and drink. Their body is showing them how to die. Their body is taking care of them by making them not hungry and thirsty. And this could be happening with people who have life-limiting or chronic illnesses as well. But with VSED, it is a way for people who feel very out of control to take some control back. Our bodies do need nutrition and fluids to survive. And sometimes we have specific diseases that will eventually allow our bodies to get there, right? The body will naturally stop wanting to eat and drink. But sometimes that takes a long, long time. Specific diseases I can think of just off the top of my head: dementia, Alzheimer's disease, or really anything under the dementia umbrella, which is like Alzheimer's disease. So anything under that dementia umbrella comes to mind. Parkinson's disease comes to mind, COPD, CHF, all of these chronic life-limiting illnesses that can last a very, very long time. Now, by no means am I saying with this video that people should be doing this. Not at all. I just want people to know that this is an option for people with life-limiting, chronic, or terminal illnesses. This is an option for you if you do not live in one of the 12 states that offers the death with dignity law. So let's start with the basics. What does this actually mean? VSED actually means this person who decides to invoke VSED would choose to stop eating and drinking as much or as little as they wanted. They could really adhere to this if they wanted to, or they could, kind of do what they wanted with it. But they're saying, hey, this is what I want to start doing. I want to start doing this. I'm going to invoke my right to be able to do this. And that means you stop eating and drinking to hasten death. And that does mean to speed up your death. You do not need a doctor to tell you this is okay. You don't need anyone to tell you this is okay. You can just do this. I highly suggest this because when you stop eating and drinking before your body is ready to, you will have symptoms. You will have hunger pains. You will be thirsty. You will have confusion. It could be painful. Like it's not necessarily quote unquote easy to do. Your body is still going to go, hey, hello, I haven't eaten, I'm hungry, or I'm thirsty. Your body will not be like, quote unquote, helping you with that. Now, I will say after a few days, your body will likely click into, oh, this is what's happening. So it won't be, quote unquote, as bad. But I still would always advise you trying to find a doctor and a hospice company that will work with you. Now, because this is such an unknown thing, many doctors and many hospice companies either don't know about it or will say, I don't want to work with someone who's doing that. I don't believe in that, right? You can't make someone help you do this. I would highly suggest you Google VSED, VSED in your area, and likely information will pop up on how to find providers, how to talk to a hospice company about it. Again, some people are more educated than others. Some companies will have a lot of experience with this, some won't. So be prepared to kind of be hit with people not knowing what you're talking about. But this is a thing in all 50 states. Another thing I would strongly suggest, you need to get this in writing and possibly even on video. You need to make this legal. You can put this in your advanced directives. A great example would be someone with dementia. You get a diagnosis of dementia, you don't automatically just stop forgetting everything, right? This is a slow progressing disease. So you may live a long time with this disease, but in your advance directives, you can say, when I stop being able to feed myself, or when I stop being able to walk, whatever the cutoff is for you, you can write in detail that you don't want to be fed, you don't want to be given fluids. You can write that. You can make it a legal thing. Now you have to make sure the person that you make your medical power of attorney will follow your directions, but you can make this a legal written document with a lawyer's help. I would also make videos as well to make sure everyone that you know and love is on board with what you're choosing, and you can get doctors involved. You can make this a plan. I like to say this because so often with diseases like dementia or Parkinson's or ALS, people really, really lack control. And it can be a long, devastating process that not everyone wants to go through. And VSED is a legal way to help you have a little more control over how your life ends. So how does VSED actually work? What's it going to feel like? So first and foremost, you have to, I would say, legally invoke this, get your family on board, get a doctor on board, get a hospice company on board if you can. Again, not everyone will do this and not everyone will be able to do this. So some people will have to just do it with them and their family. But I will say that will be a more difficult route, but that is doable and you can do that. If you are very strict and really decide that you do not want to eat and drink at all, no food, no water, and you really stick to that, this will be a quicker process, right? Now that is harder to do when your body isn't fully in that death and dying mode, right? So you are going to feel it, at least at first. You will feel hunger pains, you'll feel thirsty, you could get confused, maybe irritable. You will be able to tell that you are basically, starving your body. You'll be able to feel that in your body, which is not comfortable. Hence why I think you need to have a doctor on board so you can help with some of those symptoms. But just so you know the process, it usually will be once you stop eating and drinking fully, it'll be around 10 to 17 days. Now it can go beyond 17 days, specifically if you're deciding you still want to drink water, but you don't want to eat, right? If you're still giving yourself water, but no food, or if you periodically have some things here and there, it won't be as distinct. It may, quote unquote, last a little longer. It's usually anywhere between 10 to 17 days. Age comes into play. Whatever disease you have comes into play. There's a lot of factors. Hence, again, why I can't keep stressing enough. I really think it's important to have a healthcare system involved. What are the symptoms that you most likely will see? Thirst will be one for sure, and weakness. I did read some things where it says hunger is a rarity, but I have heard personally from people who have done this that they did feel hungry and get hunger pangs, but only in the first few days. So I think the hunger part is probably the least symptom, but it does happen. I've heard the first few days and then eventually that stops, but the weakness and the thirst can still be there. And then because you're doing this to your body, you will definitely have some confusion, some delirium, definitely some sleepiness. You will definitely have decreased urine output. This is all normal to be having. And then eventually you will get into, the transitional phase and then the actively dying phase, which is why you're going to want to eventually be on hospice for this, because you will need the care of a nurse coming to you, and your family will need to help you just like anyone else in the actively dying phase. So what would be the cause of death? If you did do this, technically the cause of death would be dehydration. Now we all know there's underlying factors here. There's the disease, the life-limiting illness, the reason why you invoked VSED. But however, that is the cause of death. The cause of death is dehydration and starvation. And death is usually very peaceful if well managed. That's the part, the if it's well managed, which is why, again, how many times can I say it in this video? I really feel like it's so important to get healthcare professionals involved, specifically ones with experience, if you can. Huge major things that are important if you were to do this. I only want to educate about something so serious if people know the full picture. And the full picture is you need to know how important it is that your family understands why you're doing this, how it works, and that this is what you want. There needs to be full communication with anyone who is going to be caring for you. They need to know what you want, why you want it, and that you are okay with this decision. right? Because there's going to be a lot of complicated emotions here, a lot of guilt, possible guilt from your family. I should have done more. Why didn't I say something? What if they were hurting? Because eventually you're going to be unconscious, right? And they're going to be the ones not feeding you and giving you water. So they need to know that this is absolutely what you want, and I would make it a legal document so it's out of their hands now. They are just respecting your wishes. There is a brief checklist to go through to know if you have, marked off all the boxes. So number 1, are you decisionally capable? Can you make this decision for yourself, and do you fully understand what it means? 2, have you talked to your family and friends? Have you talked to your healthcare proxy, the person that you're going to put in charge of your health when you can no longer make decisions? 3rd is, have you documented this? Have you made an advance directive? I would suggest you make this a legal document, written and possibly videotaped, so everyone that you know and love, including doctors and healthcare workers that are going to be working with you, they know that you are capable of making this choice, you fully understand it, and exactly what you want. 4th, do you have a hospice company lined up? So, you can only get onto hospice if you have a terminal diagnosis of less than 6 months to live. So sometimes people who are doing VSED don't have that terminal diagnosis yet. They only have like a chronic illness or a life-limiting illness that doesn't quite meet hospice criteria. So what they have to do first, and this is like the red tape stuff that's kind of annoying, but this is what you need to know. What you have to do first is hopefully find a doctor in your area that is willing to work with you with VSED, say what you want to do, get all the legal stuff done, and start doing it, okay? You're doing it. Then eventually you will get to a point where it's very clear getting towards the end of life. Then the hospice company can allow you to come on because doctors have said you have less than 6 months to live, and here's why. And then they can let you onto hospice, and then you have a hospice care team for that last phase of your life while you're on VSED. Number 5, the things to think about. You may decide to stop doing this. You may start doing it and then go, well, actually, this is rough. This is too much. I don't actually want to do this. Or maybe you just decide, you know what? I was wrong. I don't want this anymore. I do want to eat. I do want to drink. What now? Okay. You can always back out of this. Of course, if you're not too far along, you can always back out of it. Have a plan in place. If I decide to, what's the plan? Because you're eventually going to have to come off hospice. You're going to have to start seeing doctors again. There'll have to be plans put in place. So just know that you can stop doing this at any time. I have talked to other healthcare workers who have seen people, start doing it and then stop doing it. You can always go back to it if you want to. So just know it can be flexible, but just have a plan in place. And last but not least, make sure you're aware of the timeline. You have to know that if you truly do stop eating and drinking, you will end your life in probably less than a month, or maybe a month at the max, right? So knowing that, understanding that this process won't be completely easy. It's going to be hard on your family, hard on you. There's going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be things that happen. So just knowing and understanding that this is the timeline and trying to kind of take it a day at a time. Hence why it's so important to plan and have a team involved in this. This is not just a quick, easy fix. This is an option for you, but there will still be issues with the option, hard parts of the option, things that come up. So just kind of preparing yourself and knowing that. Certain diseases can make you feel really out of control, and VSED is an option to help you take that control back. I think it's important we know it exists. Love you guys.